Hello and welcome to class 9th subject English book Beehive poem 3rd Rain on the Roof by Coed Skinny. This poem tells us about the poet's sweet memories of his childhood. At night, when dark clouds cover the sky and it rains gently, when the poet lies in his cozy bed and listens to the sound of the raindrops falling overhead on the roof of his cottage. The poet remembers the loving look of his mother who used to shower love and affection on her children. Now, this was the introduction of the poem. Now, let's know about the poet. Coed Skinny was born on 24 November 1826 near Pinyon, New York. He was partly educated at Antioch College, Yellow Springs, Ohio, and studied law with Thomas Corwin. He became a journalist and worked on papers in Cincinnati, Ohio, Xenia, and Springfield. He wrote poetry and his verses were collected in Keuka and other poems in Cincinnati in 1855 and Lyrics of the Ideal and the Real in 1888 of his verses. The Rain on the Roof, which was set to music, was the most popular. He died in Ohio on 25 January 1904. Students, let's start the explanation of the poem and reading too. But before this, I would like to request to you all to open your copies with your pen or pencil in your hands so that at the end of the video, I have explained the figure of speeches which is used in this poetry. You will write in your copies. Okay, I hope you will do. And when I will be explaining the poem, I will be going to tell you the hard word meanings of this poetry. So keep your pen or pencil in your hands, write the hard difficult words meaning and the figure of speeches too. I hope you will do, and now let's start the poem. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. Here in the first para of this poem, students, poet is explaining that what type of weather was there on that night, okay. So here humid in the first line means moisture. Shadow you all know, in Hindi we say parchai. Hover means making around, okay. You can say mandrana in Hindi. So the clouds are hovering over the head, over the house, you can say in the sky above the poet's house, okay. Above the poet house you can say, or the clouds are there in the sky, okay. Over all the starry spheres means stars were all over in the sky, and there are some humid shadows hovering in the sky. Humid Humid shadows hover here means that the dark clouds are full of water moving around something, like that only. Okay, so the dark clouds are hovering or moving around the sky, and at the same time the sky is full of starry spheres. Okay, the stars are twinkling in the sky, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. This line means that melancholy means sadness. Okay, so a poet is comparing that darkness with sad feeling. Okay, so the darkness on that night, in that night, was very sad. It was giving and feeling that everything is being sad, and that darkness is also very sad. It looks like it is gently weeping. Okay, so it is going to weep in rainy tears, means the raindrops are compared with the human tears. So that melancholy darkness is gently weeping, like weeping by rainy tears. Okay, so rain is falling, and those raindrops are compared with the tears. Okay, that darkness is crying, and those raindrops are called tears according to the poet and his imagination. Okay, so what a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed. Here in the above four lines, the weather is explained by the poet that the dark clouds are full of water and moving around his sky, and the sky is full of starry spheres, means so many stars are shining or twinkling in the sky, and the darkness is as if it is very sad, giving look, and it is looking as if the darkness is weeping. Weeping means crying. Okay, the darkness is weeping in the rainy tears, means the rain is coming, and that raindrops are compared with the tears. Okay, so this is the weather explained by the poet, and in the these four lines, what a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. So here bliss means happiness. Okay, so poet is very happy, and because of the rain, and he is just pressing out the pillow of his bed, of his cottage chamber bed, means cottage chamber bed means bedroom, of his bedroom. He is there on his bed, and he is just pressing out his pillow by his head and listening the pattering sound. Patter sound is the sound of raindrops falling on the roof, which is made up of the roof which is made up of tin or tiles. Okay, so from that only you get the sound, the pattering sound. Okay, so of the soft rain overhead. So poet is saying that the rain which is coming, that is in soft manner, it is not harsh. So in this he had explained that he is enjoying that rainy weather in that night, and listening the pattering sound at that moment. In the next paragraph, every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start. In these lines, students, here tinkle means and tinkle means here light ringing sound. Okay, tinkle is the short or light ringing sound which is coming out from that rain when it is falling on any tin. Tin is a material, it is a matter. Okay, so it is when the rain is falling on any tin, and then this tinkle sound is coming out from that. Okay, so it is a light ringing sound. Shingle means rectangular wooden tiles used on roof. So here it is given that every tinkle on the shingles means when the raindrops are falling on those shingles, on those rectangular tiles, then tinkle sound is coming out from that falling of the rain on it. has an echo in the heart. Means echo means repeated sound. So when the tinkle voice is coming from those shingles, then an echoing is going on in the poet's heart. Means that tinkle sound is just pressing the poet's heart. Okay, and an echo is being done in his heart by that voice of the rain which is falling on the shingles. And a thousand of dreamy fancies into the busy being start, and a thousand recollections weave their air threads into woof. Here poet is expressing that when he is listening the tinkle sound on the shingles very keenly, at that movement it is echoing in his heart. Means that sound is echoing, he can listen that sound in various at various times. Okay, so and a thousand of dreamy fancies means at that movement when the echoing of the sound of the rain is going on in the heart of the poet, at that moment what happened, dreamy fancies means his mind is full of many thoughts, and dreamy fancies is going on in his mind. He is making so many imaginations, he is doing so many pretending for his future, and dreaming for his future. Into the busy being start means he is not having a second of time, and so many thoughts are going here and there in his mind. So and a thousand of recollections, here recollections means memories of past. So at that moment only, when he is dreaming for his fancies, and the his mind is very busy in doing that uh, dreaming fancies, at that moment he is also having thousands of recollections. Means memories of his past, whatsoever he had spent with his friends, with his family, or anyone. So everything is coming in his mind when he is just sleeping on his bed by pressing the pillow. Okay, so weave their air threads into woof. Woof here means weft, the thread woven across a loom. Okay, so here again the comparison is done of those thoughts, of those continuous thoughts which is coming in the poet's mind with the woof. Okay, so it is weaving means bunna. Okay, so by different thoughts and different recollections of the memories, it is just weaving out. Means one is going and another is coming, one is going and another is coming, and all are just connected with each other. Okay, so um all this thing, dramatic things you can say, or all these fancies, dreamy fancies were going on in the poet's mind. As I listened to the patter of the rain upon the roof. So he is saying that all these recollections of the memories and air threads were just weaving out in his mind when he was listening the pattering sound of the rain which is falling on his roof, upon his roof. So in the last paragraph of this poem, now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years agone, to regard the darling dreamers, ere she left them till the dawn. Oh, I feel the fond look on me, as I list to his refrain, which is played on the shingles by the patter of the rain. Now, here the poet is just discussing about his mother. The memories which is there in his mind for his mother is just coming and weaving out their air threads into a woof, those were about his mother only. All the memories, whatever the things he had spent with his mother, everything is just coming back into his mind again. So, by this, we can also understand that the poet's mother is no more, you can say, or you can say that the poet's mother is no more, and he is just remembering or memorizing the thoughts of his mother, and he is recollecting his memories while listening the pattering sound of the rain. As she used in years agone. Agone is the word used for era. Okay, era gone by means era means centuries gone by. Okay, so agone is used in place of era in this poem. Agone is the word which is used in the past. Okay, past time. So as she used in years agone means era agone when his mother was with him. What she used to do with poet, let's know. To regard the darling dreamers, ere she left them till the dawn, means when he used to dream, when he used to take his darling dreams, very good dreams, his fantasies, his good thoughts, his good dreams, when he used to sleep and take at that movement, his ere here means it is old poetic word which means before. Okay, so before she left them till the dawn means when the mother make the child sleep, after that also she used to just see the child continuously without blinking his eyes, you can say, or she used to sit near the nearest child, near the poet only, and see the poet continuously till the dawn time. Okay, so dawn is the time before the sunrise. So he is what the poet is recounting that when his mother was with him, she used to stare the child after sleeping. Okay, and watch him till the dawn time while sitting over there only. Oh, I feel her fond look on me. So now also when the poet is listening the pattering sound after so many years, then also he feels that as if his mother is sitting in front of him, and she is just staring on him. And as I list to this refrain, list here means listen. List word is used by the poet because it is the poem of so many years before, and so it is an old poetic word which is used in place of listen. So as I listen to this refrain, here refrain means a repeated part of a song or a poem. So oh, I feel her fond look on me. So poet is saying that he is feeling as if his mother is now also she is there, and she is looking at him, and it is listening the pattering sound. When he is listening the pattering sound, it was as if any song is being played. Okay, so the pattering sound pattering sound of the rain is compared with the refrain, means a repeated part of a song or a poem which is continuously played in that tone only. So the voice of the rain was like that, which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. So poet is saying that refrain sound which is played upon the shingles. Shingles means a rectangular wooden tiles used on the roofs. Okay, so which is played on those shingles, that sound to listen as if they are refrains. Refrains means a repeated part of a song or a poem, and that refrain is compared with the pattering sound of the rain. A patter sound, the sound which comes from the drops of rains when it falls on the roof. So that is called the patter sound. I hope you have understood the poetry, students. Here I have given you some questions. There are some questions you have to do in your copies. Let me explain the first question. What do the following phrases mean to you? Humid shadows. Humid shadows, as I have told while explaining only, that humid means the moisture, means these are the humid shadows are compared with the dark clouds which is full of water and moving around. Hover means moving around. So humid shadows are just the dark clouds which is hovering over the poet's house, or you can say in the sky. Starry spheres. Starry sphere are the twinkling stars in the sky. What a bliss. What a bliss means a joyful movement. 1,000 of dreamy fancies into a busy being start. This means a man is lost in his reveries. Means the poet is just recollecting all the memories and he is dreaming for that. So a man is lost in his reveries. 1,000 of recollections weave their air threads into woof. This statement means that old memories bring in picture in his mind and he is weaving those memories. Now let's discuss about the figure of speeches which is used in each paragraph. First of all, let's talk about the rhyme scheme which is used in these 3 paragraphs of this poem. The rhyme scheme which is used, that is A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. Here you can see humid, hover. So the hover sound is A, spheres is B, darkness is C, and then tears is again B, means spheres and tears. Okay, so this is the this is the rhyme scheme which is used. Okay, here you can see hover here, and spheres, darkness, tears. So this sphere is rhyming with tears, and then again B. So A, B, C, B, then D, E, F, E, means head is rhyming with bed. So what is the rhyme scheme used here? A, B, C and B. Again D, E, F, E. Now this is the rhyme scheme which is used, and which is the another figure of speech which is used here, that is alliteration. You can see in the first line, students, here humid. First of all, let me tell you what is alliteration. As I have already told you in my previous videos of the poems, but then also again I would like to tell you, alliteration is the repeating sound of the consonants. Okay, which can be used, which is used in the starting of the word for creating rhyme scheme. Okay, so here you can see humid, H is there, her, and hover. Okay, so humid and hover is rhyming, is the alliteration, the consonant sounds, okay, which is used in the same line. Again you can see starry here and spheres. SS sound is used, which is also an alliteration, and then here press and pillow, it is an alliteration. PP is there, cottage, C, and chamber, CC. This is not an alliteration, because the sound which is coming out, that is caw, and this is ch. Okay, so that is why it is not the alliteration. Okay students, so don't confuse yourself. So all these are the alliterations which is used here. One more alliteration is used here, lie and listening. L sound is used in the same line. So this is what? This is alliteration. Now let's discuss the another figure of speech, that is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the figure of speech which used to express the sound of the animals or any non-living thing. Okay, it is generally onomatopoeia is used to show the sound words. Okay, so here the sound word is what? This patter. Okay, patter. Patter word is used to denote the sound of the rain. Okay, so this is the figure of speech, onomatopoeia, which is used to show the sound of the rain. Next is personification. Personification, students, it is a comparison between a living being and a non-living being. Okay, so here you can see gently weeps in the rainy tears. Okay, here the poet is saying that, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in the rainy tears, means that the darkness is weeping in the rainy tears, means those, as in the poem while explanation also I have explained that raindrops are compared with the human tears. Okay, so those water droplets are compared with the tears which used to come from the human eye. Okay, so any quality which is compared with the non-living quality, that is what? That is figure of speech, personification. Okay, so weeps in the rainy tears, here is the alliteration. Here is the figure of speech, that is personification. So now let's come to the second paragraph. Here again the rhyme scheme is used, is that first here it is shingles. Okay, shingle is a hurt B, fancies C, start B, A, B, C, B, hurt and start. Okay, so hurt and start are rhyming with each other. Then recollections is D, then E, woof is E, and patter is F, and then E. So A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. So the same rhyme scheme is used, which is used in the first paragraph, students. Here woof is rhyming with roof. Okay, so this is the rhyme scheme which is used by the poet in the third paragraph also. You can see, have a look. And the next is alliteration. In this alliteration, you can see in the fourth line, busy being. Okay, busy being. In the third last line, their threads, tt is there. Okay, and in the last line, rain, roof. So this is what? This is alliteration, the repeating of consonant sounds in the same line. Okay, and next is onomatopoeia, again the patter word which is used for showing the raindrops sound. Let's go to the next paragraph. Again the rhyme scheme is used: A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. Refrain is rhyming with rain. Okay, agon is rhyming with dawn. So the same rhyme scheme is used in the whole poem, that is A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. Next is alliteration. Alliteration in this paragraph is memory, my mother, M is used. And in the third line, darling, dreamers, D is rhyming. Then this is the alliteration which is used in this paragraph. Then the onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is also used in the last paragraph. It was showing the tinkle sound. Okay, the tinkle, here you can see the tinkle sound is the sound of the rain only. So that sound which is denoted by the word tinkle. So this is also an onomatopoeia which is used to show the sound of the rain. So this much is the things or the rhyming schemes or the figure of speeches which is used in this poem. I hope you have understood all. If any doubt is there in the figure of speeches or in the poem's explanation, you can please go to the comment box, write your doubts and ask things and clear your doubts. But read very efficiently. Thank you and have a nice day.